Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are excited to show you what's new in Vertex BD and Vertex Sync and how these updates can make your everyday work faster, smoother, and more accurate. In Vertex BD 2026, you asked and we listened. There's more than 300 improvements and fixes aimed to boosting daily productivity. Modeling is smoother, structural design is more accurate, and everyday project tasks are simpler. What they are, you will hear soon. On the collaboration side, Vertex Sync continues to evolve as our cloud collaboration platform. It now offers wider access for browser-based users, deeper integration with everyday office tools, and smoother and streamlined workflows that bring the project information to more stakeholders more efficiently. Okay, today Mr. Honkanen will walk you through the new capabilities in Vertex BD 2026, and Petri Molkkari will present the latest developments in Vertex Sync. My name is Jukka Haho. I'm working as a product manager in Vertex, and before we dive into the new features, hey guys, could you each say a few words about yourself? Kimmo, could you start?
Hello, everyone. Nice to see so many of you here. And I'm product owner of BD, so starts of the BD releases and so on.
Hello, everyone, and nice to hear and see you all guys here. My name is Petri Molkkari, and I work as a product owner, and my product is Sync. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. And some practical info before we continue. This webinar is being recorded and will be available in our YouTube channel afterward. Also, feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A section at any time during the webinar. Will be the Q&A discussion then after the presentations. So without a further explanation, let's go and today's topic. And Kimmo, go ahead.
Okay, I switch up this webcam. I'm really proud about our new BD version. There's more than 300 improvements. You don't see everything, but most likely, let's go to the next slide. Most wanted improvements, we collected those needs from you, and they are coming from the service desk tickets. And globally, we have a good local Vertex support teams. So in our monthly meets, we have collected those and selected what would be the most wanted improvements for you. Let's go to the video.
Hi there. Thanks for joining us for this video. In this one, we're going to take a look at some of the wanted improvements that we have made to BD in version 32. The first most wanted improvement we have added to the software is the inclusion of adding eave trims to mono roofs, like shown on screen. This is now available within version 32 of BD. Now, when you select this type of roof and add eave trims from the library, where you have this type of join available to you, it will now automatically add eave trims, so no longer do you require to edit these manually. It also keeps the joins if you edit the slope, so let's quickly amend the slope. As you can see, it keeps the joins between the trims. This change now helps you with these automations when modeling roofs. It also takes into account different roof shapes. For example, as you see here, where one of the parts of the roof intersects with a wall. As you can see, when we apply the same set of trims here, it recognizes that you don't need trim where the roof intersects with the wall. Here is another example. As you can see with this offset roof, the trim is successfully applied based on both slopes of the roof and their position without any issue. Next, we'll be taking a look at our new model tree and beam panel filtering tools. We have made changes here to make it easier for you to find beam panels in big projects and have updated our model tree truss number order to alphanumeric. Previously, when creating a lot of beam panels in large projects, it was a little bit difficult to find where certain beam panels were. You could search for them if you could remember the name of the panel, like shown on screen now, but we have made it much easier by including a filter within the model tree. You can find it here within the drop-down under the beam panels section as shown. This makes it much easier and quicker for you to filter through your beam panels whenever you require to make any changes, etc. Here you can see how we've improved our model tree in terms of our trusses, as mentioned earlier. These are now all in alphanumeric order here, so it's easier for you to browse through these when making changes too. Our next most wanted improvement to BD is our merge terrain cross-section view to elevation view. If you use terrain models within your designing, you can now merge terrain sections and elevations. In this example, there is our model home and our terrain model. The ground thickness for the terrain is set to 0, and the area cut line is set as shown to clipping a ground line. So to make use of this, you need to have a terrain VXM model ready. Then, within the Output tab and via Build Selected Model, you need to select terrain.vxm. Once done, you then get the model generation settings window. You need to select terrain.vxm from the Drawings and Models section and Terrain from the Objects section, and you can then hit OK and continue. So now that's done, let's make a terrain section view from the right hand side. Here, in the Architectural Documents section of the document browser, and under Sections is the Define Cross-Section Terrain View option. We select this and then choose terrain.vxm and hit OK. We then select our wall and press V on our keyboard, and then BD automatically makes the section view based on the wall. We can edit this a little bit to show all the terrain as required. You can click here to see the cross-section settings, and our defaults are as shown for this. Here, you can see an example drawing sheet which contains elevations. When I update this, you can see within the settings that we can now include terrain view. Selecting this takes the section of the terrain view and merges that from the same direction of the elevation view. So let's take a quick look at that in practice. After a short while, BD completes this process, and here you can see the merged view, including our terrain we set up previously. Our next area of improvement comes within our library section of our software. In BD 2026, you can set up building libraries without having the system admin rights, so now everyone who is designing and who doesn't have admin access can create their own libraries when required. You can now access these via the document browser. Click your building name and then right-click here and selecting the building library section as shown. For example, say you need a new structural sheet library, take OSB for example. We can create a new library as shown. And now when you are adding a sheet from the library, as you can see here is our newly edited and created library and sheet ready for use within our building projects. As well as this now, within the library, when you create or amend framing tools, the libraries now remember where you have been and made changes to previously to help you come back and carry on with the customization you are working on. For example, let's modify a profile here. Now, when we go back into the library, the software loads our last location we were working on as shown. We have also updated thumbnail functions within our libraries too. Now within our system libraries, we have updated the thumbnails to have no background at all for a cleaner look. However, if you have custom macro components that need the thumbnail updating, we can update the thumbnails to match manually too. Right-click your desired library and click the Update Thumbnails option, confirm, and then BD will update all your thumbnails to the new PNG-based system. This process will take place automatically when you update from your previous version to the new version of BD for any current custom components you may have already. Next up, as part of our most wanted changes we have made within version 32, is adding in the ability to protect panels and multiple layers at the same time. Often there are situations where you require to make a change to a panel but want to make sure no changes will be made to the others. Now when you have selected a panel, we have included the option here for panel protection. With that selected, now when we try to amend a protected panel, BD will first notify us that the panel is protected and asks if we would like to continue to amend the panel. This can also be utilized to protect multiple layers at the same time. Using this method, as you can see, we can select a few and choose to protect parts. And now if we try to amend them, we get the same notification message about the items being protected. These actions make it much easier to make sure you don't accidentally amend panels or layers inadvertently. Next, we will take a look at our improvements to adding service holes within the framing tool. Now within the framing tool, you have the option to select the service holes as you require. You can select the service hole type for your joists, the start and spacings, service hole blockings, and also these for headers too. Let's create a panel and include some service holes and take a look at these. We will do this to a basic example panel. When we generate our panel, BD automatically applies our selected service holes, which we can now see when we filter to our framing view. If you want to set up the blocking, you can do that within the framing tool, under Framing, General, and the Blocking Details section, where you can hit the Select button to choose from your available blocking and spacing, and then regenerate your parts to apply your blocking, including service holes. Making this available in the Frame tool saves a lot of time when creating service holes for your builds. Lastly, in our most wanted improvements made in BD version 32, we have now included support for converting 2D drawings to VXM format so that they can be used as reference models in 3D. Previously, when there was a need to add 2D drawings straight into our 3D model, it was done via the macro component library. However, now it's possible to add these via our reference drawing functionality. In the reference drawing tab, we select to add reference drawing or model and then choose our VXM file. Vertex loads this into our modeling window and we can then amend its positioning to suit. We select it and then amend its rotation via the x-axis, and with a little rotating and the drawing placed, we can utilize it to aid our building modeling as required. Thanks for joining us for this video showcasing some of our most wanted improvements coming to version 32 of BD. Stay tuned for more.
Okay, that was some selected most wanted improvements in that video. More you can see from the What's New page. About IFC improvements, there's own webinar coming, but some pickup from there that you can now do the individual IFC files from the palettes. You can get the separate IFCs quite easily now. It was asked and now it's in the new version. So more about IFC in the webinar, which is coming soon. Next slide. Panel assembly. Now there's user interface to define panel assemblies. It's also stack proof. You can do the stack about those also, and when you are doing the NC output, there's also possibility to do the NC output files according about the assemblies. So let's take a look about that video about that feature which you now have.
In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the panel assembly improvements we have made within our 2026 version of Vertex BD. There is now the ability to create panel assemblies easily within Vertex BD. This used to be an advanced and somewhat hidden feature within the software, but now we have implemented it as a main feature within the software for everyone to use. Here in this example, we have a small building module including wall, floor, and ceiling panels. To create panel assemblies from here is quite simple. We select all our desired panels from the modeling window or the model tree, and now up here in the main navigation ribbon, we now have the Create Panel Assembly option. Selecting that, we have a Properties window which is displayed, and within here we can select the panel types where you can choose from assembly or prefab units. You can also customize your prefix, start number, and also if you want to see separate panel labels, you can select the options here too. Let's take a look at what happens when we select our options as shown. BD creates our assembly instantly, and it can be found within our model tree here with each of the selected panels as specified. Let's switch over to our 2D view. We can define our label visibility by selecting the panels and right-clicking and selecting the panel properties option as shown. Currently, there are no separate labels visible. If we select the directly connected panels option and press OK, our panel labels will now be available in the 2D view. When you have your panel assembly created, you can select it here and then have the option to connect or disconnect panels just by selecting directly within the model or via the model tree too, as shown. This makes modifying sections of your assemblies or excluding sections very easy. After we have completed creating our assembly, we can create our panel drawings for it very easily too. We select our assembly via the model tree, right-click, and then select Create Panel Drawing. We click this, and now within the Panel Drawing Template section window, we have a new template for assemblies. We click that too, and now once generated, as you can see within the drawing generated, we have our list of panels that make up our assembly and both 3D and 2D views showcasing the assembly too. Now with the drawings completed, the panel assembly is done. Next we can go on to taking a look at our outputs for our assembly. When you are creating your NC output files, we have added two fields pertaining to panel assembly. These are parent assembly and the assembly hierarchy fields. You can track your parent assembly and hierarchy for your assemblies here, and when you have multiples within a large project, they will all be detailed here. You can select the individual panels you require to output via the tick boxes, and then selecting to write output to complete. Another change we have made is now we can stack panel assemblies. We have now the stacking section at the bottom of the document browser. If we click this and select Edit Stack Contents, we can then create and amend assembly stacks from here. As you can see, by selecting our existing assembly stack and then right-clicking, selecting Add to New Stack, and then from here we copy our stack values from our library and select for it to be dimensioned based on content. And then once we've done that, we select OK and build our stack. Now we go to the document browser and the stacking section. Within here, we can right-click and go to Edit the Stacks in Model. We can amend the presentation to show our layers as shown. and here you can see the dimensions of the stack. Let's add this to our assembly. We right-click and select Add New Stack Assembly. We again select our stack values from the library as before, and then we will amend our net dimensions as we now require. Now with that done, we create our stack assembly by pressing the button here. Vertex does this quickly, and we can now take our assembly and add it to our truck, ready for dispatching to our site. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, that was about the panel assembly. There's also about stack improvement in the panel assembly video. You just saw that there's also the stack assembly, which is highlighted in the stack improvement. So you can collect those stacks together and put those, for example, for the transportation. So webinar is coming more detailed about the stack improvement. So let's go to the next slide. Here's some list of the improvements, because at the moment we don't have so much time. So we have done ScotSteel NC Link and the framing tools. There's some hot roll detailing and light gauge steel improvements. One you saw in the most wanted video about making the service hole lines automatically in the framing tool, for example. And there's Truss Engineering and Truss Generator improvements, and more about those in the webinar. But in the What's New page, there's some, was it 2 videos about what we have done, so you can see them from there. And all the time we are doing the speed and performance improvements, which you don't see. Hopefully you see that it's quicker than in the last version, and video tools are also improved. So, and there's new updates what you have in your environments. You can see those in the Sweden and US. There is a list of those what has been done to the environment changes. So that's new also in this year in the What's New page. Let's go to the next one. Just before we go to the sync integration and sync new features or what there is, so some highlighted features from the sync integration. There's a labeling for the sync buildings. It's not available in the local buildings, but if you have the sync integration, you can get the labeling for buildings. For example, you have order products and that kind of things. You can do the own labeling, and the 2D viewer support for the sync product is now done to the BD. So that was all from my side from BD. Thanks for watching this webinar or being here. One more slide. When you get this BD new version, distribution will start on February 23, and before that you can go to the What's New page and see what is coming. There's videos and more information about what we have done to the BD 2026. Thank you from the BD.
Okay, thank you, Kimmo. Let's dive into Vertex Sync. So first, what is Vertex Sync? Vertex Sync is a cloud shared project and document workspace that keeps all your designs, manufacturer documents on site on-site teams, manufacturing teams, working from the latest drawings, models, and documents. So all the decisions, all the data, all the work stay aligned. No more email sending documents or information via email is needed when you are having a Vertex Sync. What we have done the last year, we have done quite a lot new things, but there are few new features and improvements I like to share with you today. So please, next slide. So one of the biggest improvement or new feature is a Microsoft 365 integration. Now you can use Microsoft documents like Word, Excel, PowerPoint directly from Sync. There is no need for downloading those documents anymore if you want to view, edit those documents. Even creating new Microsoft 365 documents is easy with new Sync version. You can view those documents without Microsoft 365 subscription, but creating and editing those documents requires that you have commercial level Microsoft 365 license. Let's see a short video about the Microsoft 365 integration with Sync.
Vertex Sync is our cloud collaboration tool for the building industry that connects designers, clients, manufacturers, and builders into one secure platform. Vertex Sync has a new, exciting Microsoft 365 update for your workflow. Building projects usually involve many documents, including design guidelines, specifications, spreadsheets, surveys, and contracts that teams need to share, organize, and edit together. Now you can work seamlessly with Word, Excel, or PowerPoint documents directly from Vertex Sync. Here is a quick run-through on how to get started. Existing and new users can either enable a Microsoft 365 integration when they sign in or through their account settings. When you want to upload files into Vertex Sync, you press the plus button and choose Import. Your document is instantly categorized under the building project it is related to. Dragging and dropping files is also an option. Creating Word, Excel, or PowerPoint files is also easy. Simply choose what kind of a document you want to work with, and the editor opens directly in your browser. Vertex Sync saves time by storing notes, reports, and presentations into a clutter-free platform. Everything related to your building project is easy to access and edit by everyone involved. Vertex Sync allows for real-time collaboration, meaning several users can work on the same document at the same time. Documents can also be viewed on mobile devices. All modifications are updated in real time. If you're using Word, Excel, or PowerPoint in your building projects, use Vertex Sync to collaborate and keep your data all in one place. Find out more on our website.
Okay, that was a small introduction video about Vertex Sync and Microsoft 365 integration. May I have the next slide, please? Okay, then one of the key features the Sync has is 3D, and now as a new feature, also a 2D viewer. Next slide, please. We have done huge amount improvements for our 3D viewer. There are a lot of improved measuring tools, model clipping tools. Model viewer 3 is overhauled completely. We have improved the appearance of the model and so on and so forth. the list is huge, and I show a couple of those features later in this webinar. Next slide, please. Then new 2D viewer. Now we have an option to show 2D drawings in Vertex Sync, and you can have basic measuring tools in those in the viewer too, and of course those hide and show layers and such of things are available too. Now I may have a screen and have a little demo about a couple of features in Sync. Hopefully you see my Vertex Sync screen now. Okay, yes, here is a example project I have made in Vertex Sync. As you can see, all the documentation is under the one project. Not only the Vertex BD building here, but also all other documentation can be added in Vertex Sync, so all the project documentation stays in one place. And now a very short demonstration, a live demonstration about that Vertex Sync Microsoft 365 integration. Let's open a ground condition survey. Open in Word. And it opens in web browser, and you are able to modify the document here. Let's go back and let's create a new document for this project. Just a brush. Let's make a Word document. And okay, there is one link only, but it's okay. And that's it. Now I have made a new document, and I can open it and start working. It can't be simpler than this, working with Microsoft 365 integration and sync. All the documentation available in one place. Okay, let's dive in the building. Find the building. Open the BD building. As you can see, all the documentation of the building is here available. But let's dive through the 3D viewer improvements first. Let's open the 3D model. And we have the building here. First, one of the most asked new feature is model edge lines for better view. Now we have those. With this feature, you can add edge lines for PCs, so maybe it's in some models much more clearer view for the different components and so on and so forth. Then let's take a quick tour for new clipping tools. We have made completely new clip tools here. All the user interface is now improved, and there is simple clip tools for the model. You can clip with main axis. You can select surface and start clipping from there. This feature is especially useful when some parts of your model is not orthogonal or parallel to main axis. or you can select component from example from 3D view or 3 view and click to selection, and you get that part. Fast. Okay, then a small demo about new measuring tools. Same easy user interface. We have added improvements to how the cursor is shown. You can see now the snapping point more easily, but it also emphasizes the line the measuring is snapped to. Let's click there and let's click X lock there, so I can quite easily measure the width of the column. Or I can use perpendicular model and get quite easily different dimensions there, as you can see. But also we have new angle measurement, which is quite handy, as you can dimensions different angles. You can show just a line and another line, and you get the angle measurement there. These are all new ones and improved measurement tools. And of course, we have improved our 3 view. Now it's very familiar for BD users, as you can see all the main building component types there, and underneath are all the components belonging there. For example, as I already showed you how fast this tree is, I can select a 1, 3, for example, and hide all others, and I get clear view for that building component in 3D model. Fast and easy. Okay, let's go back to the building, and I select one permission filter, and then I can check, for example, this section drawing, and now we have open in 3D view. Let's open this in 3D view. Now you can pan, zoom, and also have basic measurement tools in 2D model or drawing too. Select lines, perpendicular model measurement, and let's select the line from example there, and you get the dimension. And as you can see, the dimension is the same. Regardless, this is not in one scale as 1 by 1. This is something like a 1 to 50 scale, but measurement still works. And this is very useful when you have drawings and you want to just check some measurement maybe missing from the 2D drawing itself. You can use this to check measurements. Okay, then we can go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Could you, Jukka, take the next slide, please?
Yes. And thank you, Petri, about the presentation. Now those other stakeholders like site workers, factory workers, they don't need to always to call the designer, but they can go to the 3D model or 2D view and check the dimension or check the structure. So what a great time saving.
Yes, absolutely that. Okay, next slide, please. And then the huge news for you all organizations using Vertex Sync. We have introduced a new license level. And what we have done a new license for web-only users. So basically, what does that mean? The old BD Sync license is now Vertex Sync Pro. And all the old Vertex Sync licenses are automatically upgraded for Vertex Sync Pro licenses. And underneath that, we have created a new Vertex Sync license, which is meant for web-only users. And what's the difference with those two licenses? The only difference is that Vertex Sync Pro is needed when you are using Sync via Vertex BD. So it's designed to meet Vertex BD users' needs. All other users can have Vertex Sync license meant for web users. You get all the benefits of 2D and 3D viewers, Microsoft 365 integration, all the documents, tools, and so on and so forth. Let's look a short video about this one too, please.
Vertex Sync is a shared project workspace that keeps design, manufacturing, and on-site teams working from the latest models, drawings, and documents, so decisions and work stay aligned. With our new license options, staff who don't use design software can use the more affordable Vertex Sync license, while designers choose Vertex Sync Pro for seamless integration with Vertex BD. Both Vertex Sync licenses include core features: a viewer for examining 3D models and drawings, the ability to work in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, as well as cloud collaboration tools for uploading and sharing project data from anywhere on any device. When you stop working from disconnected folders and email chains, and everyone works from Vertex Sync, you get fewer stoppages from incorrect revisions and faster turnaround. With Vertex Sync Pro, design teams can publish buildings and documents from Vertex BD straight to Vertex Sync. Keep everyone on the latest models and drawings without manual exports, and manage customer-specific design environments in one controlled space. Unlike generic cloud services, Vertex Sync is purpose-built for the building industry to keep your projects up to date all the way from design through manufacturing and to the finished building. Current Vertex Sync customers are automatically upgraded to the Pro tier. Contact our sales team for a demo tailored to your needs. Find out more on our website.
Thank you. And then next slide, please. Okay, as you have maybe noticed, if you're already Sync user or you had a more previous information about or knowledge about Vertex Sync is not yearly based release, but we are continuously improving the software. So to keep up the latest improvements and latest new features, all the documentation can be found from our knowledge base. And of course, technical support is available too. Thank you.
Okay, now it's time for the questions, and Petri, I think that question is for you. Can you also use the measurement tools to in sync on an iPad?
Yes, you can, but of course, when you are using a finger to try to snap the measurement to correct location, it might be quite challenging at the moment. But in future, we are improving those features too. But basically,
would it be any better if using some kind of pen?
maybe depending on the pen, of course.
Yeah. We don't have any other questions. If you like to ask, just write to that question box. Now we do have short time for them. So far we don't have anyone, so maybe we go forward, and you can always contact us later on if you have any questions related to Vertex BD and Vertex Sync. And I think it's time to also thank Kimmo and Petri for the presentations. If you have anything you'd like to know more, you can always contact our sales team. Don't hesitate to contact, and you can find the contact information from our webpage. And next webinar will be it will be in the beginning of March related to IFC. Thank you, everybody, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.